Welcome back to Cycling Unboxed, and today I want to show you some of the things that I've been doing to my bike to make it lighter. So obviously we're going to do a weigh-in at the end, but this story starts with a quick email, and that email is from a brand called Nepest, a Chinese carbon wheel set. I've never tried a Chinese wheel set before, and this is my perfect opportunity to give one a go. So they said, which ones do you want? I said, I want the lightest ones possible. And I thought, why not try do some other things to the bike to make this bike amazingly light, or as light as I can make it. So let's start with those upgrades going from top to bottom. Now this bike in its normal riding setup with the original Roval wheels that it came with generally sits at 7.2 kilograms. This is a frame size 58, so it's not a small frame, which makes it a little bit harder, but it is the S-Works version. But then on top of that, I have got a custom paint job on it, which probably added a little bit more weight back on top. But yeah, let's see what we can get it down to. So to kick it off, something very small, but it is bar end plugs. And I have a previous video on this where I've made my own custom made 3D printed bar end plugs. So link in description if you want to watch that. But these actually had a rather large saving. I had the nice Silka metal ones on there, which looked really good, but they weigh 26 grams. These themselves weigh 6 grams. So ka-ching, we've got a 20-gram saving right there. Next up on the menu, we have this what you can only call a sliver of carbon. So I didn't actually buy this one, it was lent to me from a friend that came stock on a bike, and it's the Sella Italia C59. And C59 because it weighs, you guessed it exactly, 61 grams. I think you can give them a 2 gram discrepancy though, is what it is. I think it's probably impossible to make every single one of these exactly 59 grams, but still, that is one of the lightest saddles that you can get out there. Now, here's the kick in the teeth. Thankfully, I didn't spend this money, but this saddle does cost in the range of like 300 to 400 pounds for something with zero padding, but I guess that's what you pay for one of the lightest saddles that money can buy. Now there are options out there from AliExpress for roughly around £20 that will give you around the 80 to 90 gram mark. One thing I will say on this one is that I do find the Sella Italia boost style saddles here fairly comfortable, but I actually find this channel too big. This part sits too far wide on most of my pelvis bones, but I think I'm going to give this a go for a couple of weeks and see if I actually get along with this saddle. But for my normal specialized power saddle that sits at I believe 201 grams, I mean this is practically a 140 gram saving just at the top of the bike, which is rather impressive. Next up on the list was an upgrade that, well, I wasn't going to do, but ended up doing anyway. These pedals are the Look ceramic titanium pedals. It's got a little TI on there, and these are the lightest pedals that Look sell, and they come in at a rather impressive 195 grams. I was a little bit worried about these because generally speaking, most of these titanium pedals have an 85 kilo weight limit, and well, I am 85 kilos. But these Look ones, I couldn't find a weight limit anywhere. I saw one website where it said 100 kilos, and then I saw, I think on Reddit, someone said that they emailed Look and they said they didn't have a weight limit. So I mean, I'm going to be fairly confident riding them. I think the original ones come in at 235 grams, the normal Look Keo blades that I had on here before. So these are definitely 40 grams lighter, which once again is another big saving. So far we've got 40 grams, we got 20 grams, and we've got 140 grams up there, which is a 200 gram saving so far. One thing I will say about these pedals is that they're probably a little bit of a waste of money, to be honest, but there are other options to make your pedals ultra lightweight. So there's a brand called TI Parts or TI Parts, and they changed the body of the pedal body, to a titanium one for you for the price of £60. Now for £60, and that will save you about 40 grams between the two pedals. So if you're looking for a bit of weight savings for somewhere relatively cheap, that's not a bad place to save weight. Well, I don't think you get too many wheel sets that come in a nice travel bag like this one. Well, the main reason I got these shallower ones is to have something as light as possible, so let's weigh them in as a set. And we've got there 557 grams for the front wheel, and then for the rear wheel, this is GC Performance kind of territory where it balances them. 1, 2, 4, 1. Pretty damn light. That is of course currently without rim tape, but they do provide for you. So you've got a few extra spokes in there. You've then got, well, your 10-speed spacer if you're running 10-speed, some tubeless valves, and then finally your rim tape to go on there. So I'm going to get that on. So the last upgrade that I've done is the wheels. The exact model of these ones are the Maui 35. They do have some other options, so obviously 35 is 35mm deep. They do have a Maui 45 and a Maui 50 if you need a little bit more depth as well. First of all, big thanks to Nepest for actually sending these wheels out to me. They have sent them to me for free to test and show you, but they have some very cool features on there. So what makes these so light? First of all, they are shallower than my normal wheel, which are the Roval Rapide CLXs here. So fairly lightweight wheels, these ones. I'm gonna get into more details about the weight of these later as I compare them directly. But yeah, obviously 5161, and we're going down to 3535 on these, so definitely a little bit of carbon, save some weight there. Next up are the carbon spokes on here. So carbon spokes are of course lighter than steel spokes, a little bit stiffer. Apparently they make the ride a bit snappier and a bit more energetic, but maybe a little bit less comfortable. I'm going to test that in a review in the future. Then we have a lightweight hub paired with some ceramic bearings. So there should be a tiny bit less rolling resistance in the bearings, and secondly, they should actually last a bit longer as well, so you should get a bit more life and longevity out of those bearings. And then finally, the last thing that makes this lightweight is some laser etched decals. So these are starting to become a thing, especially in these more Eastern brands. The Western brands haven't really started it yet, but instead of putting stickers or painting the wheels, they laser etch the decals on there, which saves a bit more weight on top, and I think looks rather cool as well. You would think all of those lightweight features make this a fragile wheel, but that is not the case. It's actually, you can have a 125 kilo weight limit on these things. And once again, that's more than some of the a lot deeper wheels that we have over here. So it's quite impressive actually as a wheel set. It seems to be nice and sturdy and robust. In that future review, I am going to go into more details, stuff about the spoke setups, the weight, the tire width, how they measure on there. But let's go into some of the features that have made these wheels even lighter by pairing them with some more lightweight components. So to make these wheels as light and as energetic as possible, I've started with the outside of the rim, and on the tyres we have the specialised turbo caution. Very low rolling resistance. I'll link some data down below if you want to check that out. But also a very light tyre, so these are 240 grams per tyre. On my Rovals, I'm running the Vittoria Corsa Pros, and those come in at 280 grams. So there's quite literally an 80 gram saving between the pair of tyres on the outside of the rim. But not only that, I've gone even further on the outside of the rim, and I've paired those with some Ride Now TPU inner tubes, the 24 gram versions. I normally ride the 36 gram versions for a bit more robustness, but I've gone for the 24 gram versions this time. And over the pair, that loses another 24 grams from the outside of the rim. Then for the disc rotors, I've gone lighter on the disc rotors as well. I've gone for these Galfers. They seem a little bit soft and flimsy, but we'll put them to the test and I'll give them a little review of them in the future. And compared to the Dura Ace rotors, these come in at 175 grams, whereas the Dura Ace rotors come in at 215 grams. And that is for a 160 front, 140 rear. So once again, there's another 40 gram saving on top there. Then finally, I've just paired it with a Dura Ace cassette because, well, I've just taken it from my original wheel set onto this one. You can go lighter for the cassettes. Recon, for example, do some aluminium cassettes. So this is about 201 to 207 grams for the Dura Ace cassette here. For the Recon cassettes, the aluminium ones, they're like machined out of one piece aluminium. They come in at like 155 grams for the same kind of size. And well, that's a rather impressive weight, saving another 50 grams on top there. But realistically, aluminium's like cheese when you pair it with a chain, so don't really want to run the risk of going through loads of lightweight cassettes or wearing through loads of them. The Dura-Ace one works very well. These come in at 2,218 grams, so 2.2 kilos. And my normal Rovals, so obviously there's a little bit more depth on there, which are also considered a very lightweight wheel, especially for the depth. They come in at 2,471 grams, so 250 grams or so heavier. And then finally, for a normal, more traditional wheel, the GT Swiss wheels that come on my partner's Canyon Ultimate, well, they come in with TPU tubes. All of these bikes have had TPU tubes. They come in at 2,771, which is another 300 grams on top of that. So I mean, Jesus, it's nearly half a kilo saving in the wheels here, just by choosing the right spec and the right setup. All right, something I know you've been waiting for. Let's weigh it in. Like I said, it used to come in at bang on 7.2 kilos in its original setup. And I've got my ropey weighing scales. Maybe I should get a better set of weighing scales for this, but let's see it. Okay, we've got a scale zeroed. Let's have a look here. Whew, that's coming in light. So I'm just gonna let it settle. There you go, pretty much bang on 6.7 kilos. I've never really had a bike under the UCI weight limit before, but I must say, when you pick this thing up, it really does feel light now. So there it is, 6.7 kilos. I've saved half a kilo on this bike just by doing a few upgrades. Now, admittedly, some of them aren't cheap, but I hope it gives you some inspiration on where you can do upgrades in the future. I honestly cannot wait to get on this bike and ride it, because I'm suspecting with those carbon wheels and that ultra lightweight wheel set with the least amount of weight around the edge of the rim as possible, it should be very energetic, it should be snappy, it should be exciting to ride. So I'm definitely going to get a review in for these wheels in the next, I'm hoping, month or two, if the weather holds out for some good riding. Otherwise it's going to have to be longer. If you have any further questions for me, you can find me in the comments down below. I'll probably reply to most of them, or you can find me over here on Instagram. Anyway, I've been Jason, this has been Cycling Unboxed. See you in another video.